Welcome back, team. Sorry I missed the video last week. I just got real busy and then I got sick. My kid gave me some sort of cold and it really affected my voice, so there wasn't much point in trying to record a video when my voice sounded that bad. But we're back now and we're feeling good. All is good. So a couple of quick things before we jump into this week's chat. I've done a few editing videos lately and people have really enjoyed them. So I've put out a free preset that you can download. I'll put the link in the description. It's basically my standard editing preset that I use as like a starting point when I'm editing through images from a shoot. If you're trying to find your style, it'll sort of be a good base starting point. If you're trying to go into that commercial world and shoot in that sort of style, then it'll be great for you. So yeah, download it and utilize it, and hopefully it can help you sort of get your editing to where it needs to be. The other thing is I ticked over 400 subs and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys. I do appreciate it. My ultimate goal with YouTube is just to help you guys chase your dream in photography and grow and become a photographer, and whatever you want to achieve, I'm here to relay that information. That's basically my goal with it, and that's why I make these videos. And I love all the feedback and all the messages I get from people saying how I've helped. That's what it's all about. So I just wanted to say a quick shout out to everybody for subscribing, and yeah, we'll just keep this ball rolling and see where it goes. So this week I want to have a chat about pricing and how to price your work. It's a common question that you get when you are a photographer for a living. When people start making money, they don't know how to price their work. They don't know where they're at, how much they should charge for a certain shoot. And that's where I'm here to help people figure out what they're worth, what they should be charging, what's a fair price, where they're at in their career, all that good stuff. So I just wanted to have a quick chat about it. So when you first start out making money with your work, like I've mentioned in other videos, you're not jumping in and pricing your work like a professional who's been doing it for 10 years, because you are at that starting point. Photography is much like art or anything in that creative space where you need to build your name up and you need to build your sort of, I guess, your portfolio and your name over time to be known as someone who does it on a professional level. Again, I've mentioned this stuff in previous videos, but I just wanted to make a dedicated video about pricing. So my kind of ethos when it comes to pricing photography is I base my work off the value that I add. I'm shooting mainly in the commercial space and the event space. So basically I base my price off what I offer that client in return. Like the value that I bring with my images is why I cost what I cost. A lot of people come to photography from 9-to-5 jobs, so they look at everything in an hourly rate. They're stuck in that per hour mindset, which can work in some situations. I still have an hourly rate that I can happily charge people, and I give them that option if that's what they want to do. But usually I charge on a case-by-case basis or a job-by-job basis. My pricing can be different depending on a bunch of factors, being who the client is, how big they are, what the deliverables are. You know, like there's so many different variables. You can't ever just say, oh yeah, this is my rate, because once you do it at a certain level, that rate can change depending on so many different factors. So starting out, I guess the best thing to do is research what people are charging sort of in your area for the niche that you're shooting in, and sort of try and work around that. Again, you're not going to be getting a huge rate or hourly rate at the start because you haven't built your name up. You haven't prove to the community or the photography world or the clients that are looking at you what you can do and what you can offer and the value you can bring. So you're basically just at that starting point. And like I've mentioned in other videos about finding your first clients, you know, those first paid gigs might come from your family or your friends. You might do some portraits for $50 here, or, you know, whatever. You're not going to be jumping into quoting big, you know, multi-$1,000 jobs for the day because you're just at the starting point and you haven't proved yourself. You haven't proved what you bring, the value that you bring with your images. So to start out with your pricing, think about a number that you would be happy to get paid, whether it's per hour, per day, per image, whatever it might be. You've just got to think of a number that you think you're worth, that you would be happy to receive in exchange for your services. And again, when you're starting out, that number's going to be quite low because you're just happy to be there. You're just happy to be making money with photography. It's like, whoa, the dream's coming true. You've just got to figure out what that number is to get started. And again, I'm sounding repetitive, but like I've said in other videos, the growth trajectory, it's like a mountain that you climb. As your skills grow, your gear grows, your business grows, so do your prices. Your price reflects your experience, it reflects the gear you shoot on, it reflects your whole setup. You know, like obviously once you're further down the track, you have a lot of running costs like insurances and all the business costs that are involved. So naturally those prices have to grow over time. But to find that starting number, you've just got to think about what you think you're worth at that point. Again, you've got to be realistic. If you're starting out and it's the first time you've made money with photography and you think you're going to get paid the same as someone who's been doing it for 10 years, you are delusional. That is not how it works, no matter how good your work is, especially if you're young. If you're young, people don't look at you like your experience. You can be the most talented kid on planet Earth, but you're a kid. So people don't look at you and take you serious, and they'll naturally try and take advantage of you and get you to shoot for cheap or for free or whatever it might be. That's where I love to teach these crew that they have value even at that stage. Like, yes, people might not be willing to pay them what they're going to pay someone who's in their 40s and been doing it for 20 years, but you're still worth probably more than what you thought you were at that stage if you're talented and if you're producing professional level work. You've just got to find that happy medium when it comes to the money side of things. So another thing I wanted to mention about pricing and figuring out your pricing is most people that do this for a living are pretty nice. You know, there's some douchebags in the industry, but if you're like me, you love to teach other people about the industry and how to succeed in it. So if you can't figure out your pricing, just reach out to someone in your area, in your niche that you know has been doing it for a long time and say, hey, just trying to get my pricing sorted, just starting to make money with photography, and I'm just looking for some advice. 9 times out of 10, those people are going to be stoked for you and happy to help you out and go over a quote that you've put together or whatever, just give you your basic rate that you should be charging. And that's all it takes. There's a lot of nice people out there in the photo and video industry. And like I said, if you're young or if you're just starting out or whatever it is, just reach out to those people. A, it helps you on the networking side, and it gets you a bit of knowledge to then get your starting pricing and get rolling. Another thing I wanted to talk about, whether you're starting out or if you've been doing it for a long time, one thing you don't want to be is the cheap photographer. Photography and videography or cinematography or whatever you want to call it is what I call a high yield skill. It's a specialized skill. When you're in the industry, it seems like everybody does it, but in comparison to the actual population, there's not many of us that do it. It is a very specialized industry, and that's why we can charge what we charge once you're at a certain level and a certain sort of, you've been doing it for a certain amount of time. One thing you don't want to be is the cheap guy. Once you're the cheap guy, you stay the cheap guy forever. Everyone will know you as, oh, that's that person that'll shoot this for this much less than everybody else. That is not a formula for success. That is a formula for always being the cheap guy, and you'll never actually make any profit or any money out of it, no matter how many jobs you do or how much work you do. Like I said, the natural progression of pricing happens over time. As your work grows and everything grows, you charge more and more. My prices go up basically every year because inflation goes up every year. The cost of everything else goes up every year. Pricing needs to be at a point where you can actually make money from this thing and make profit from it. You don't want to be the cheap guy. Remember that. So when you put in a quote for a job and they say, oh, we can only do this much, and it's well beyond what you think you're worth for the day or the hours or whatever it might be, just say, sorry, I'm not the right photographer for you. We have to find someone else. As soon as you're in desperation mode and you're taking every little job you can that someone's offered you half what you quoted for, it's just a vicious cycle to go down. If I put a quote in for a job and the person says, we can only do this much, and I think it's way less than what it's worth for me to even consider, I either pass it on to someone else who I know is at a lower level that'll be happy with that rate, or I just say, sorry, you'll have to find someone else, it's not for me. I know what I'm worth, I charge what I'm worth. And yes, you have to be negotiable in some situations on your pricing because to fit in with budget constraints and whatnot, but I will do it to a point to where I'm still getting what I think I'm worth. If it goes below that point, I just say, sorry, I can't do it. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, when I say no to a job, even if I needed it or I needed the money or whatever it was, something else pops up. You've got to keep your morals about you when it comes to your pricing, or like I said, you're forever going to be that cheap guy that gets brought in to do the jobs that no one else wants to do because you'll do it for pennies instead of what everyone else in the industry will do it for. So to wrap things up, when it comes to pricing, it's really on you. Yes, there's industry standards and this and that. Once you're a full-time working pro, obviously you work to industry rates. But when you're starting out, you're just trying to make your first bit of money. And it's really on you to work for what you're worth and to figure out what you're happy with when it comes to being paid for your photography or videography or whatever it might be. Use the tips in this video. Like I said, reaching out to people who do it for a living and all that, it all helps. Don't be shy, have a crack at it. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. I love giving everyone this knowledge of our industry and what we do. If you want a free editing preset, hit the link in the description. I just put it up the other day when I hit 400 subs, so go hard. It'll give you a good starting point for editing your images, potentially. It may or may not work for you, but give it a crack. And like always, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the knowledge I'm bringing, give it a like and a subscribe and do the notification thingy and, you know, all the usual YouTube stuff. And yeah, I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, get out there, get shooting, make some money. See you in the next video. Peace.